She sacked him. A great bull rush by Chris Jones.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
It's a Celtic. Great catch. Touchdown. Kansas City, the 10. Still not down. Oh, what a run. Out of this world. Sinks it on the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted by Matthew. The Honey Badger doesn't care.
Welcome to this victory edition of Chiefs Rewind. Younghoe Koo had not missed a field goal since week 3. He had hit 27 in a row, and somehow it was like the spirit of the 69 Chiefs and Jan Stenerud blew that thing to the right because it started in the center in the crazy winds of Arrowhead. Give Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes the victory. The Chiefs get the victory 17-14 over the Falcons. It was one of the great philosophers of our time. Maybe your old teammates like Jerome Woods or Mike Maslowski or Billy Barber that said, you never get fussy about winning in this league, especially when it gives you the bye in the AFC playoffs and a 14th regular season victory in all-time Chiefs record. Take it and run.
Man, I got to say this team showed perseverance. They showed consistency. They showed never die attitude. I love the fight in the dog, and I love the dog in the fight. Our team definitely came prepared to just go out and find a way to win a ball game. Halftime, it was tight, and they found enough way to make enough plays in the second half to secure a victory, and not only a victory, like you said, secure that #1 seed.
By the way, the Run It Back starter pack is going to be available for you on the 4th of January. That's a week from tomorrow. You can go to Chiefs.com and order it. You got the flag, right? Here we go.
I got everything.
Here's the mask, the Run It Back starter pack. There's the mask. There's the koozie. And there's the flag, which is for real. Look at this bad guy. All right, nice. So the Run It Back starter pack, the Chiefs are headed to the playoffs as the #1 seed in the AFC. Let's get the feedback as we go to the podium from head coach Andy Reid.
I'm proud of the guys, man. 14-1. There's nothing to shake your head at. I thought we did a good job in the red zone for the most part. There's one we'd like to have back, but for the most part, we did okay. There's situational football with a 2-minute drive at the end, the big sack before the field goal with 55 and 95, and they were in there quite a little bit throughout the day. On the pass rush, the young linebackers, that finished the game, were flying around and making plays. Sneed, another young guy, flying around and making plays. And then when it's all said and done, you've got a bye week and coming up after our next game. So, and that's there are only 2 teams that will have that this year. One on each, one in the AFC and NFC. So that becomes important. We can use that as a healing time and get ourselves back healthy and ready to roll. So, and with that, we'll get ourselves ready this next week to play against a good Chargers football team. And I haven't made any decisions. I would never do that before a game where I'm depending on somebody else and or myself, with that. So I wasn't banking on Pittsburgh winning or anything else or losing. So I haven't made any decisions there. So if you're going to go that direction, you can just ask another question. All right.
Go first to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. Looked like Tyreek kind of saved the game. Maybe when he came a long way to tackle the guy, knock the ball away from him on the interception. Did you see that play and maybe say something to him afterwards?
Well, I mean, listen, he made a great effort to get the ball. I mean, we had some linemen that were chasing also, and they're working our tackling down there a little lower, but we did a nice job getting after it there. But yes, Tyreek's done that before. He did it again, and I told him good job.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, I know you're going to want to watch the tape, obviously, and there's probably not a simple solution, but what is your diagnosis of what the Falcons were doing to kind of slow you guys, offensively, especially, before that last drive?
Yeah, I mean, they did a heck of a job. I'd take responsibility for that. We've got to just kind of get ourselves back into rhythm here. I think we we just weren't sharp as we need to be. And I've got to go back and look at the plays. Listen, make sure we're dialing up the right things and then executing them, or at least dialing them up in the right order, and then go from there. And then I've told you before, I'm going to look at what I did and what we set up for the players, and then we'll look at what the players can do to get better. The one positive was they battled like crazy, and then, here's Pat, just ripping a heart out with that last throw. I mean, to D-Rob, and he could have hung his head, and he's going to give me more. I'm like a good pitcher. I'm going to keep firing, man. So he did that. He worked through everything that was going on before, any frustration or whatever was going on before. He worked through it, and here he came out on the right end.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, I know the win is the important thing here, but Trav made some NFL history, his most receiving yards ever by a tight end in a single season. Just what can you say about Travis in his season this year?
Yeah, listen, I'm so proud of him in so many ways. I mean, on and off the field, and he's just a heck of a football player, great person too, and keeps it alive. I mean, for the young guys to see this guy that he's getting up there in age, but gets excited for every opportunity he has, I think is a special deal. So, he's done a nice job and made a nice career of this thing. And like I said, on and off the field, and kind of grown up right before us.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Andy, you had to play a couple of new guys on defense who played more snaps than usual. Just what did you like about the defensive performance, considering that they kind of kept you in the game through most of the second half?
Yeah, listen, I thought it was a valuable time for Willie and, a couple of the other linebackers there. I mean, it was it's hard to put a price on that experience that they just got against a good offensive football team. This team here is it's a weird deal because they've been so close, like this game. They've been so close and just haven't been able to finish it off with a W, but they're right there battling. And Raheem, Raheem has done, I think, a tremendous job for them. And I'm hoping that Mr. Blank, keeps him. I mean, he's really done a nice job. And Dirk Cutter, their offensive coordinator, I think is tremendous. Their defensive coordinator had a heck of a game plan together. And now you got Bob Sutton there. You guys know again what I think of Bob, and so they've got, they've really got a good football team, and they're playing. And this is a team that could have just popped the tent right there and said it's over, but they battled. So I think there's something to be said for that.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Congrats on the win, Coach. I was curious about your take on Darrell Williams. I know that it seemed like Pat was maybe getting a little bit covered in the secondary, and you guys turned to the run there, and he was able to really push forward after seemingly being replaced during the middle of the year, just staying with it. I was just curious your thoughts on Williams. Yeah, listen, he's never hung his head or anything. He just kind of keeps going, and he does well in the pass game. He's always been our third down guy there. So, and now he's had an opportunity again to show what he can do, and he did a nice job. Le'Veon got kind of banged up there for a second, and he stepped in and did a heck of a job, took advantage of the opportunity. So, it was a real plus for him.
Got time for a few more. We'll go here.
Welcome back here as our Chiefs Rewind, celebrating a 17-14 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. Coach Reid just laid it out there. This Atlanta team, I've called them mercurial all week. Man, they didn't look like a 4-11 team today, and they've had the lead in 10 of those 11 losses. And 4 of the times they've had a 95% chance of winning. But this game, to me, and I think you'll agree here, really boiled down to the defense, and especially guys that had to step up in roles they had not had before. We're now joined, I believe, by Willie Gay Jr., who joins us from the locker room. And, Willie, first of all, congratulations on the victory. I want to ask you first about the big fumble forced on Powell that stopped the drive. Darius Harris picks it up. What happened on that play? Because you get a forced fumble. Snead was also there.
Yes, sir. Well, all I know is it was pad. He threw the ball out there, man, and the only thing I know is to run to the ball and, just go fast and hit whatever, has the ball. So, and when the ball popped out, I got up and saw the ball out, and D. Harris picked it up, and it was a wonderful play, man. It's just a great play by him to pick it up. So.
All right, we hear you, a.k.a. Big Play Willie Gay. This is Shawn Barber, man. I'm a former linebacker for the Chiefs. I know how it is to get on that field, man, and have to make the calls and everything. Not having some of your wingmen besides this game. You and Ben had to go out there and just man the ranks. So a little short-handed at linebacker. What are you thinking about doing as far as just in your games, particularly being a rookie, first time in the league, seeing the change of the game speed? How are you going to acclimate your game to the NFL game, especially knowing you're going into the playoffs and it's going to turn up even another level?
Man, really, with me, man, just take it week by week. I know I'm never going to be perfect. Like today was never perfect. Big plays going to come, you're going to make your plays that come to you if you do your job, man. So with me, it's just the details of it, and like once again, today wasn't perfect, but just like next week, fix the things that I messed up today and just continue to get better.
We're looking at your line. There's 7 solo tackles. It's a good day's work. We're seeing one here on your run blitz. That was outstanding. But you were flying around all day. It had to be fun to be out there. But I got to ask you, then Neiman goes out. You're out there with Darius Harris, who had never played a defensive snap in an NFL game before, and Omari Cobb, who had never been in an NFL game before. What was it like in kind of a fire drill situation after Neiman left the game with an injury?
Man, you know what? I saw Ben limping, and I thought about rookie training camp, mini camp all over again. It was me, Darius Harris, and Omari Cobb, us three with Coach House doing drills. And I went over to those guys. I was like, man, look, we never thought, in rookie mini camp that we would be here today. But, our number is called, so we got to step up as best we can, and just make plays and do our job. And God is good, man. We all three did our job, man, came out with the win, so it was big.
Hey, man, you get a chance to meet with those guys, tell them we all we got, we all we need. That's sometimes the mindset of when you're on that field, man. We talk about mindset. We know about attention to detail, making the little changes in your game. What do you think has been the most changes you've seen in your own personal game from weeks 1 until now, heading into week 17?
Definitely my eyes, man, because I can go back to college, my freshman year, seeing pulls, seeing radar tight ends, switching back, and getting to the NFL, and it's really like started all over. Now you got to see those things again with even faster jet sweep motion, stuff like that, so just really fixing my eyes, man, and every week just continue to do that.
Gotcha. Willie, one more question. I don't know, I've got to find your play count in here, but how good was it, the fact that you got all of those snaps? And people need to realize, too, you still play special teams, man. It was you had to feel like you're back in Stark Vegas a little bit. You didn't come off the field. What was it like to get all those snaps?
It was a lot of fun, man. As a rookie, man, all you can ask for is an opportunity, man. And then when your name is called, you just want to go out there and just do what you can, do your part, and allow your team to count on and be able to be counted on, basically what I'm saying. So it was big and fun, man. So.
Well, congratulations. It's awesome to have you in the Chiefs Kingdom. Great job today.
Sir. Thank you. Thank you.
And the fans got a lot of Willie Gay Jr. today. But we saw his closing speed. Looking back at the replay, to see the reason that fumble was forced is he's getting there so fast. I don't think Powell expected Willie Gay Jr. to arrive that fast and that sudden.
Man, so quickly, just going back off of the notes I got on Willie Gay, a 63rd overall draft pick from Mississippi State. I got him as Big Play Willie Gay, a heat-and-seek missile. He is on the field, sideline to sideline, making plays all kind of ways. And like he said, we all we got, we all we need. And the thing he said he's improved is his eye discipline. That talks about alignment assignment, knowing where you're supposed to be and who you got and where you belong and your fit on every play. That's the detail orientation a linebacker has to have to be successful in Coach Spags' defense.
What does it do for his confidence? You were a young linebacker. You're coming out of Richmond. You weren't supposed to be anything. But then you get that chance and you excel. What does it mean for Willie Gay Jr. to have this game today, next week and going into the playoffs?
Man, right now his chest is probably bigger than he doesn't have a big head, but his chest, his heart right now is just pumping blood. He probably could go back out there and play another 4 quarters right now because he's just so excited about having that opportunity to go play and then being able to be accountable to his teammates, being able to be consistent in his lineman assignment, calling the plays out. You know, being a leader on that field is an honor. And when you get to make the play calls, and not only get to make the play calls, but then you're out there making plays, that's when your teammates look at you as being a little bit different. They see this guy's a special player.
Teammates also needed an offensive play to try to take the lead. They got it from Demarcus Robinson. Let's go back to the podium, and here's D-Rob, who had the game-clinching catch.
Man, it was a crazy game. It was a hard fought. It was close, and I mean, guys were just trying to make plays, man. He made a great play, but unfortunately, he didn't end up holding on to it. Then Bucker go down and make a field goal. So it was just crazy, man, how the sequence just happened, and then he go down and miss the kick after I score. Oh man, let's
go next to Blair Kirkhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Hey, Demarcus, Coach Reid and the offensive coaches will have, or all the coaches will have a decision to make about who to play and who not to play now that you guys have clinched the #1 seed. My question is, when you were a younger player, did you find that, you know, playing in a lot of snaps in a late season game like this, a Week 17 game, was really helpful to you?
Yes, the experience is always helpful for any of the young guys, and it was helpful for me myself. I'm able to go out and still be confident that I can make plays and still be still keep my head focused, even though we're not moving the ball how we would like to. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, D-Rob, congrats on the win. Can you just walk us through your touchdown?
Man, I was just out there having fun, man. Coach called a great play, and I was just out there trying to execute it, and me and Pat did.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Demarcus. Tyreek kind of made a touchdown-saving tackle, it looked like, when he ran that guy down on the interception, knocked the ball away from him. What was your view? I knew you were chasing the guy, too. What was your view of that play?
I thought he was going to be tackled before he did, and he had a lot of blockers out in front of him, actually. So I was just making sure he wasn't going to cut back because I was on the opposite side of the field. And once I seen Tyreek chasing him down, I just started running myself, and I seen him poke the ball out. If I was running the whole play, then I could have got that ball before it went out of bounds.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Demarcus, people will say that this wasn't one of Patrick's better games this year, but just what did you see from him, particularly when you knew you guys had to score a touchdown there on that last drive?
Oh, yeah, man, he's a playmaker. He love to make plays, and we just all trying to make plays out here. We love to take shots, and that's what we do, man. And I don't think he had a horrible game. I mean, that's our quarterback, man. He gonna try to do whatever he can to win. He wasn't trying to make mistakes, and we all make mistakes, and we don't try to. But I feel like we just go out and play hard, and if we keep doing that, we'll be all right.
We'll go next and last to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, D-Rob, congrats on the win. You'll hear running backs talk a lot about if they don't get carries, it's tough to stay in a rhythm. You only had 2 targets in this game. How tough is it for a wide receiver to be ready for a play as big as you had to score that touchdown at the end?
Man, you just got to always stay ready. Then Sammy went down, and, I mean, I had to go up and take on his role. So you never know when you're going to get the ball. You can get the ball once or none, and we still win the game or lose the game. And no person can win the game. It was everybody blocking for that play and set it up. It was a scheme we set up. I mean, it wasn't all me. It was the whole team. It was all 11 of us.
D-Rob, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I got to focus on fixing the things that I made mistakes on during the game. There was a lot of reads, a lot of protection calls, a lot of adjustments at the line of scrimmage that I made wrong or that I didn't make the right way that put us in bad positions. And so I gotta focus on getting myself better to help out the team. But I mean, then again, at the end of the day, I mean, the defense played their tail off to keep us in that game and to give us a chance, and the offense found a way to score a touchdown when we needed to. So I mean, that's just that championship swagger, as Tyron would say, of knowing how to win a game even when you're not playing well.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, do you feel like getting that #1 seed is more important this year because you're the only team that gets it in the AFC? And Brad, I'll have one quick follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to get it. It's one of your goals when you go into the season. If you look at the history of that bye week, usually it's a good thing for the teams. going and trying to make a championship run. But at the end of the day, we got to find a way to win a football game whenever we get there. And so for us, we have to get better. Offensively, I have to get better to put us in the right position so that we can go out there and execute at a higher level when we get to the playoffs when we need to go out there and score.
All right, and Tyreek maybe saved the game when he chased that guy down on the interception. Did you? What was your view of that play, and did you say anything to him about that when he chased that guy down?
Yeah, I mean that's the heart and then the championship swagger. I'll say it again 2 times in one interview, but that you need on a team. I mean the fact that him battling through injury already, to be out there during that game and then to make that play. I whiffed on a tackle during that drive, during that little pick. For him to follow the ball and play, I mean, you have to have those type of guys on your team if you want to win football games.
Let's go next to Herbie TOP. Go to Herbie.
Hey, Patrick, you mentioned some of the reads and some of the protection calls and some of the issues you had with them early. How much of that was because of what the Falcons were doing on defense, or was this just a bad day at the office?
No, I mean, they have a great defense. I mean, they have a lot of great players over there. They have a ton of talent. They've been in close games every single game this year, pretty much. And so definitely they did some stuff that was some good stuff. And then there was stuff that I didn't see that I usually do. And so there were some times I was hot in the game because I didn't slide the line the right way. There were some times I checked the certain plays and they weren't open. And so, I mean, you got to be better if you want to win football games in this league. And luckily enough, our defense made the stops necessary to give us a chance at the end, and we found a way to score a touchdown.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick, can you just walk us through your touchdown to D-Rob, what you saw in that one? And after the offensive struggles, how good did that feel to get him in the end zone?
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, D-Rob ran a heck of a route. Tyreek took the safety out from the middle of the field, and D-Rob was one-on-one on the island and ran a little triple move and was able to get himself open. The offensive line gave me time, and then I just fired it and let him make a play on it. And, I mean, when you execute like that, and I go through the reads the right way, we're a hard offense to stop. And so I got to make sure that we get back to that. And then I'm excited for the next few weeks ahead and being able to go out there and execute at a higher level.
Next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Patrick, 2 quick ones for you. Did the challenge from the Falcons actually help you guys figure out the right play for D-Rob to get open? And then can you sort of explain the thought process and the work behind the 4th down play where Sammy threw you the ball and it didn't work out?
Yeah, well, first, I mean, it was just building up all game. We weren't in that right situation to call that play. We had it up there. And Coach Reid saved it for the right moment, and Coach EB brought it in, and they called the right play at the right time and got the guy wide open. And so, I mean, just executing at a high level in the right moments can win you football games in this league, and we were able to do that. And then, can you ask your second one more time?
Yeah, it's on the 4th and 1 early in the game. Trick creation, another, I guess, shift Roseboro right pre-snap. Just what had been developed about that play, and just what was your reaction to it actually not working?
Yeah, obviously we didn't end up in the situation that we wanted. They had brought a lot of man-type pressure in that situation, so we were going to try to sneak me out the backside and be wide open for a walk-in touchdown. But obviously they had a guy out there. I mean, they had to have the biggest, fastest guy possibly with number 22, Neil. I knew I wasn't in a good situation at that point. So I told Sammy before the play, it's 4th down. You got to throw it even if I'm covered. He had the leverage on me, and I'm probably going to be on You Got Moss this weekend on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that.
Let's go next to Vi Gregorian. Goodbye.
Hey, Patrick. Brad, I'll have a quick follow-up, too. Just with Travis, can you just identify what are the qualities of his that make him so reliable for you, particularly in pressure situations?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a quality that we have on a lot of guys on this team, and it's that no matter how talented and how much success the guys have on this team, they just want to win, and they want to win for the guys next to them. And if you see a guy like Travis, I mean, he's a guy that, I mean, he's done it for a long time. He's been at the top of the game. He's been able to do TV shows and do all these different things. He's a well-known guy, but he works his tail off every single day, and he's practicing every single day, and he's making sure he's prepared for these moments. And for a guy to have that much talent, work that hard, and be able to really learn every single day like that's what makes him so special on the field.
And just related to that, how often does he do something that he hasn't done before in moving where he moves? It's sort of an unrehearsed thing that you guys come through on. I mean, would that happen a few times today?
Yeah, I mean, he just has a good recognition of recognizing coverages and then being able to get himself open. And you saw that on the play at the very end, that 2-minute drive. He was actually supposed to run a kind of a go type route and then sit it down a little bit deeper. And he saw the open space, so he sat it down even earlier for me to get the ball out of my hand. And so he just recognizing coverages like that is what gets him open in those pressure type situations where we're getting exotic coverages that you maybe not scouted for.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Sam and then Aaron. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick, the last drive notwithstanding, I think you'd agree, not your most efficient game, right? Today, the last month or so, a lot of our questions have been sort of how do you get to your best self for the playoffs, right? I'm just wondering, do you see today as a step back in that regard? And what's your process like of going through and correcting those mistakes you mentioned earlier?
I think it was just a bad day for the offense, starting with me. Not getting going early and then not executing in the second half. But I mean, I thought the defense played their tail off against a really good offense. And to have that type of defense going into the playoffs, kind of like we did last year, that they're getting better every single week, I feel like the offense will figure it out. And having a full team like that will get us to where we want to be at.
We'll go last to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Patrick, there's going to be a lot of chatter this week about sitting guys and getting rest. I'm curious, how do you feel about the whole thing? You rather keep rolling or what's the deal?
I just trust in the coaches. I'm ready to go whenever that is. I'm going to be ready to go. I'm going to be trying to win a football game. But, I mean, Coach Reid's done this for a long time. And Coach EB's done this for a long time. All those guys have done it for a long time. They know what's best for the team, and we'll be ready to go whenever that is.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Couple of things here. We listened to Patrick Mahomes at the podium. The resiliency of this team for 2 years has been mind-boggling to me. All right, he was frustrated today. Maybe as frustrated as we've seen him in a while, and give Atlanta credit. That pick by A.J. Terrell couldn't complete it. So what happens the next play? A double move touchdown to Demarcus Robinson. And let's bring up D-Rob here. He had that goofy punt return last week that was a safety that had the Chiefs Kingdom incensed last week. Those two guys team up for the go-ahead touchdown. What about the resiliency as a pro that you have to show?
I think when you're part of this team here in Kansas City, you realize Coach Andy Reid doesn't worry about what you did in the past. He's not worried about past mistakes. All he wants to know is that are you focused on being better today? Are you trying? Are you showing great effort? Do you understand what you're supposed to do? And then go out and execute. Anything beyond that, he doesn't live in the past. It's all about pushing you to be a greater player in the future, the next play, the next game. And I think we saw that out of all of our athletes today. D-Rob, yes, bad punt return, shouldn't have returned it, fumbled it. Okay, forget that play. Let's go make a play. Sammy Watkins, go down. I need you to make a play. All the faith in the world, he can go out there and run that double move and score a touchdown. There's not anybody on this team who thinks D-Rob isn't somebody who can make a tremendous play in a crucial point in the game. And then Pat Mahomes up there. So, like you say, struggled against the defense today. Everybody had all the pressure on him. And what does he do? He talks about himself getting mossed. That's how he takes it. It's like, we're out here playing the game. I can play it at a very high level, but I understand it. It's a responsibility that's going to come with being an MVP candidate that's going to be the leader of a championship team. Is that all lights and all eyes going to be on me at all times? And he has to make those decisions and come out here slinging and making plays.
We could make one of those big Lego marble drop deals right here. We can put a lot of marbles in it because we've been talking about a lot of marbles. But really, at the bottom are all those marbles. Here's the deal. The Chiefs get the bye week in the AFC. Remember the discussion in the offseason. Whoa, only one bye in the NFC and AFC. Woo, that changes. Another team goes to the playoffs. That means 7 make it, but 6 are going to slug it out that first weekend. And right now, looking at this injury list, I'm telling you, the Chiefs were going to need that bye week. It'll be interesting going into next week. Andy Reid he hasn't made any decisions yet how he's going to approach that Charger game because they can't move the needle. But this team needs to heal in a lot of ways.
Yeah, rest and recovery is something that you can't, unfortunately, during the season, those games are going to keep coming. Your opponent, the schedule is not set up for you to have time to rest and recover. And so when you have a moment and you have earned the ability to get an extra game's rest, extra week's rest, it's in your best interest to take advantage of that. And I think our team has set ourselves up so some young guys can get some snaps. It's going to be a great opportunity for Willie Gay Jr, if he gets back on the field, to go out there with these young linebackers linebackers and really get some game footage under him, get some snaps behind him. And then for the other guys, for guys we got on the heel, on the mend, for those guys that, go out there for however long they're out on the field, a half or 3/4, or if it's the whole game, whatever it takes, they know that at the end of the season, they're still earned and deserve that first round bye. So that's at least 7 days they got to rest and recover until they have to prepare for that second week of the playoffs.
And we do need to talk about Travis Kelce. You heard the questions during the podium. Oh, my goodness. He's redefined the position this year. I mean, on Twitter, it's all this stuff about Gronk. And, yes, Darren Waller's had a great year. But the year Kelce has had, and really when you look at the last 2 years with Kelce, incomparable. He's redefined the position. Over 1,400 yards receiving. Another 100-yard day today. But he's rewritten the position, I think, in the NFL. He is the gold standard of all of the tight ends for all time. And he had the record, a couple years ago with Kittle for just about a quarter. He's going to have it at least a year and maybe for a long time, because 1,415 yards, that's a lot of yards for a tight end. How remarkable has this guy been? And I'm going to throw in there, it's his best year blocking. I see all that Twitter chatter, oh, he can't block. I'm gonna rent a theater when we can do it non-COVID and show everybody all of his great blocks this year.
Man, we talk about how do you prevent good from preventing you from being great, and I think Kelce defines that. He had a good season in 2018, followed up with a good season in 2019. He came out like a man on a mission this year with a goal and the opportunity to just continue to define and evolve his own skill level at the tight end position. He wasn't trying to prove or get appreciation or love from anybody. He knows his own skills and ability, and he went out there and showcased them. 70 yards plus in 11 out of 15. We only work with 15 games right now, so there's another opportunity. But 70 plus yards in 11 out of 15 games. A TD in 10 out of 15 games. 8 games with 7+ catches. This kind of consistency is phenomenal from a tight end position, which league-wise, if you catch 4 or 5 balls a game for 50 yards and score once every 3 games, we think you're a phenomenal tight end. He is, like you say, he has redefined that position where there's only probably 3 tight ends when you're talking about that type of level, that type of production, that you can even think about putting in his category.
I just think he's in by himself. He's on his own planet, on Neptune. That's where the Zeus lives. To me, though, too, when they need him the most, all this year, when they've needed him the most, that's where Patrick will go, and he comes through every time. That big play that they had where Tyreek was called for the block in the back,
yes,
they had that play all day, other than the 31-yarder earlier with Tyreek. When he got that play, like the whole Chiefs kingdom kind of exhaled, like, okay, finally. But it was Kelce to do it. These were tough catches, man.
And you heard Pat say that the play was designed to even go a little bit longer, but Kelce realized and he figured out there was a hole in the defense a little bit shorter, so he cut the route shorter because he felt that Pat might need to get rid of the ball a little sooner. And not only did he cut the route shorter, when he realized he was still being covered, he did his instinctively the Kelce move and shaked and baked and got undercovered. And then the run after catch is just nasty. He's probably one of the best tight ends with the ball in his hand, making moves, finding that crease, that little soft spot in the zone to get open. And then once he catches it, he does phenomenal with the run after catch.
You ever play cards?
A little bit.
Crazy Eights. Ever played Crazy Eights? So I put this on Twitter. Last week he had 8 catches, Kelce. The week before, 8 catches. 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 Then he had 10 catches. Then he had 8 catches. 7 today.
Yeah.
But you laid it out there with that stat. It's never happened in the history of the National Football League. That from any position, including the wide receivers. That's why I'm saying we're in a whole nother conversation with Travis Kelce. You bring everybody else up here. I'll prove my case. Kelce's by himself.
Yeah, and because the tight end has to work with linebackers, safeties, it's in the meat of a defense. A lot of times offenses don't want to attack the meat of a defense because balls get batted. We've seen balls get batted up in the air. There's so many things can happen when balls are thrown over the middle of the defense. And a lot of quarterbacks just don't want to attack that part of a defense. But with as much vertical speed as we have and much attention the safeties and the corners have to pay to our wide receivers on the outside, the underbelly of the defense is usually the softest area in the target that we can keep attacking over and over and over again. And Kelce does an amazing job of finding that soft spot, that easy, that crease in the zone, and really making the defense pay.
The other thing we need to bring up, too, is the defensive pressure brought at the key times. Andy Reid talked about it at the podium. But when Frank Clark got the sack big, Chris Jones got a sack big, Mike Dana did a great job of holding the edge all day long. Nadi's second on Pro Football Focus in his run-stop win rate. But there was pressure today at key times. Now, they needed every defensive play they could find with all of the injuries, but to see Frank and to see Chris step up there at those times was like a Kelsey offensive play to me.
Man, in my notes, I got 55, 95, 51, 91, big play, 57, 92. All the guys were needed to make plays to keep us in the game. You saw, to keep an offensive powerhouse like Atlanta with all the vertical, with all the things they can do, they have game breakers. They have guys that can make plays. We saw once Ridley had that ball, what he can do in the open field. And the reason our defense was able to keep them down is because everybody ended up on the same page. And another game back-to-back, Ladarius Sneed. That young man is a ball player. He's in the making. He's following in the footsteps of Honey Badger, of Juan Thornhill. That secondary has some really nasty playmakers. And what we've seen from 38 is he can come blitz too. He can get to the quarterback, and he gets there with some intentionality, with a little anger and stuff like that. So I love what we're seeing from all three levels. And then we said the linebackers, they're young, they're budding, they're going to get some experience, and they're going to get healthy. We need those guys to get healthy, but if they're not, hey, we all we need. We got 50. We got big play Willie Gay there, and he's going to bring his horde of other young linebackers to fill the role until the vets get back.
With COVID, you got to be careful with the cold tub. I mean, the Browns went through this. I hope Willie Gay gets his time in the cold tub, because you know what? He's going to need it after this game. But Dana Hughes brought this up on the radio broadcast, thought it was great on that fumble recovery.
Yes.
Right out here behind my left shoulder when Roberts, we talked about Willie Gay coming in like the missile. He and L'Jarius Sneed force it. Darius Harris picks it up. What's unique about that? Rookie, and essentially a rookie in Darius Harris. Those were all rookies that made that play.
Some of the toughest things to teach a rookie is what we heard some of the guys talk earlier, is how to pursue to the ball, how to react to getting to the ball carrier. A lot of guys think it's somebody else's play, I'm going to start recovering before the play is over, and you take it to play off. Our guys, all 11 guys, hunt to the ball expecting a turnover. You have to expect a turnover to be ready and prepared to scoop and score, or to recover a fumble or a tip ball interception. You don't have time to think about it. It has to be second nature. You have to be just reacting to the ball carrier being there, and all our guys are doing it. And when you see young guys doing it, that's how you know Coach Spags is getting the job done in practice each and every day with ball drills, fumble drills, recovery drills, tip drills. And these are some of the fundamental things that leads to a defense being a world-class defense.
We don't have the Legos, we don't have the marbles, but we do know this. The Chiefs get a 14th regular season victory. That hadn't happened in 61 years, Shop. 14 regular season wins for Andy Reid. That didn't happen any time in his career. And the Chiefs have the 1 seed, the bye. So when we say bye, we're saying bye, double bye. But we're also going to tell you, Shop, because that flag, the Run It Back starter pack. You got the mask, you got the koozies, we got this flag, which is awesome, that Shop's got. That will be available on January 4 at Chiefs.com, the day after the game against the Chargers. And stay with us all week long. This will be in a very eventful week. Again, the Chiefs, how will they handle this final game against the Chargers? We have our Defending the Kingdom podcast. We've got Chiefs Insider. You can follow Matt McMullen. Just follow us all week long, because we will walk you through the week. It will be an interesting week, and there's a lot to do with some interesting stories. Don't blow this week off, because the Chiefs need it to get ready now for the playoffs. He's Shawn Barber, 10-year veteran, the Barbershop by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. 14 wins, Chiefs Kingdom, 14-1. And yes, you have the bye in an attempt to run it back.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.